I am fortunate enough to have just returned from a beautiful trip in Northern Europe. I visited Norway, land of my ancestors. Yeah. And I'm going to tell a story, a Norwegian story. And it really hits home, having seen the fjords and the mountains and the trees and the valleys and the rivers. It comes alive in my mind. I hope it can come alive in yours as well. And this is the story of a woodsman. Well, he was a very good woodsman, a young man, fine strapping young man. He spent all his time out in the woods, chopping wood, cutting down trees, and he provided lots of wood and logs and lumber for the village he lived in. It was a very small little village there on the edge of the forest. It was a village he grew up in and lived his whole life there. His parents, lived there their whole lives. Cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody he knew lived in the village. Even so, he couldn't find a wife amongst all the women he knew. No one just spoke to him in that way. But one day, when he was out in the woods doing his work, he did meet his bride. Oh, she was beautiful, glorious, lovely. She was, 6 feet tall with long, scraggly hair like a bundle of sticks, a nose like a big, long sausage, and big, long, furry tail.
Hello, darling. It's so very nice to meet you.
It was a troll. Who did you think lived in the Norwegian forest? So, the man and the troll, they fell in love, and they got married, and they decided to live happily ever after.
Well, actually, not really so much.
Well, first problem is she was really huge and couldn't fit into the house, so they had to move into the barn while he had time to build a house large enough to accommodate her. And the village, the folks at the village, they just didn't take to the new bride as well.
Well, one day, actually, the bride, she came home and she said, you know what? Those people in the village, they just are so rude. You'd think they never really knew a troll before.
Well, trolls do have a very bad reputation.
Well, every time I go in and I go to town and I just try to meet people and I go up and I go, hey, hi, do you need some help carrying those pails of water?
Ah, it's a troll, run, scream, oh, it's a troll's in the village.
And then I might say, oh, it's so nice, would you like to come over for tea or something, or cookies?
Oh, she's come to eat the children, I know she's come to eat the children, that's what trolls do.
Well, everywhere I go, it's so discouraging. They're so rude, and it just really hurts my feelings.
It was so sad. They decided that they would just live quiet, private lives all alone and raise their own food and make their own clothes. They wouldn't go to the village anymore. They wouldn't even go to Lutheran church on Sunday anymore. That's how bad it was.
Well, and it didn't even matter. At one point, the husband decided maybe he would go and try to talk them into, maybe they just didn't understand. So he decided to leave her home and go and try to convince the folks in the village.
Now, you know me. You've known me all my life. I wouldn't marry a monster. She's a wonderful woman. Why can't you treat her kindly and nicely? Why can't you see her as the beautiful creature that I do? But no one believed.
Well, one cold evening, they had settled in, huddled in the barn, and were quietly weeping.
Oh, so sad and lonely. Then there was a sudden thunderous sound outside, a crash, boom, smash. That sounded like trees were being ripped out by its roots and giant boulders being kicked aside like pebbles. The thundering, crashing sound came closer and closer to the barn.
Well, husband, what do you think that noise is?
I don't know. I'll go and see if it's safe. He went up to the barn door and pulled the barn door open. And right there, standing in front of him, as tall as the barn itself, the biggest, the most horrifying, scary, terrifying looking
Papa!
father-in-law he'd ever seen in his life. He was terrified. And the troll bride's father looked over and he saw his poor daughter weeping in the hay. Daughter, why are you weeping like that? Is this your husband's fault, that human? If he's broken your heart, I'll snap him like a twig and scrunch him into the ground.
No, Papa, it's not him. He's a good husband. It's the village people. You see the people in the village when I go there, well, they have not accepted me as one of their own. They reject me and it hurts my feelings.
Well, where can I find these village people? They sound terrifying. Where will I find them?
Well, it's Sunday morning. Every one of them is at the Lutheran church. That's where you'll find them.
All right then, daughter. I have one thing to ask you then.
What, Papa?
Will you throw or will you catch?
Oh, not that, no!
No? Will you throw or will you catch?
Okay, I'll catch.
And with that, the troll bride's father smashed through the door and started trundling off through the forest, his daughter chasing behind him, the poor woodsman, confused and terrified, chasing along as they rambled through the forest, crossing over the river and coming up on top of the hill, and they could see the little village laying out below them. And right there in the center of town, the white steeple of the Lutheran church. That's where the troll bride's father was headed. He marched right down into the center of town and stood right there in front of the church, the little white picket fence, waiting till the bells rang.
Dong, dong.
The little doors to the church opened wide, and all the villagers came stepping out into the courtyard, and they looked up and they saw this giant monster standing before them. They were quaking in their boots, petrified with fear.
Let's go back inside. Let's get out of here.
Well, the troll bride's father, he just stepped right over that picket fence and he waded into the crowd. And he grabbed one of the men by his collar and picked him up and glared at him in the eye. And he tossed him up, high up into the air over his head, flailing and wailing all over the top of the church until he landed safely in the arms of the troll bride waiting on the other side.
Honey, are you okay? Oh, I hope you're all right.
Well, the troll bride's father wasn't finished yet. He waded through that crowd, grabbing one person after another. Wah! Pop! Wah! And he waded through the crowd, pulling one person by the neck and the other, grabbing them by the arms, tossing them up into the air, and each and every single one of those persons screamed and yelled over the top of the church and landed safely in the troll bride's arms.
Oh my gosh, are you guys okay? Everybody all right there?
Well, the troll bride's father came bound to the back of the church. The woodsman, he followed. He was terrified. He was just glad that he wasn't the ones thrown. All the villagers were terrified. They were safe, sure, but you get picked up and thrown in the air by a troll. It's not fun. All right, people. I came here to visit my daughter, and I found her weeping and crying. I'm told it's because of you people who have not been treating her kindly. You have not accepted her into the village, and it's broken her heart. Well, I'll tell you this. Next time when I come to visit my daughter, if I find her weeping and broken-hearted like I did this time, well, she's going to be doing the throwing, and I'll be doing the catching. I'm not a very good catch. And with that, the troll bride's father stormed off into the woods, not to be seen until who knows when.
And it was very amazing. After that, things changed quite a bit in that village. Well, when the troll bride would go into town and she would look at people and see them and greet them, she'd go, hello.
Good to say, good day, good day.
Hi there. Oh, nice to meet you. Oh, what a cute little baby. And people would come up and they would shake her hands and they would invite her over for a little rose mauling or making some lefse. And they really got to know her and found she was actually a very nice woman.
They even built her an extra large troll-sized pew so she could go to church on Lutheran.
And what they ended up finding was the people in the village found out even though she was, well, a little bit different, that didn't keep her from being a very, very fine person. And that is a story from the country of Norway called The Troll Bride.